I'm up in my parents' place right now, dog sitting. Got Molly with
Oh,
me out on the
nice.
deck,
What up, Molly?
and their Wi-Fi is like 2010 Wi-Fi. I swear to God.
You look good, man.
How
Is
are you
that
doing,
Mac on the
man?
shirt?
Okay. Yeah, you know it. R.I.P. Mac always.
Dude, I was just listening to Faces the other day. I know you and I share love for that album.
Oh my gosh, I wish I was at my apartment right now. I have his album cover framed. I love that shit.
What is it about that album that spoke to you the most?
I think that just hit at a real pivotal time for me. I was in college. I was like, I think I was 19 years old, you know, and I was a big Mac Miller fan. And that was like a growth album for him and a growth moment for me too. And
Mhm.
yeah, also, I just really liked how he was producing a lot of it. I think that, you know, that made me happy as a fan and as a producer myself.
Yeah, it seems like with his production, lyrics, and where he seemed to be at in his life, it was kind of chaotic. And in my own creative process, I kind of like to go into that space as well. And it made something incredible.
It was so cool. Like it was a moment. Like I don't know if you were following him at the time. You know, he had just moved into his L.A. mansion, right? And he
Mhm.
created that studio called the Sanctuary in the back. And I mean, he was having legendary sessions, and I knew he was fucked up. Like I think we all listened to the lyrics and we're like, "Are you okay?" But it was really creative. It was super cool.
Yeah, great album. And speaking of albums, what are you working on right now?
Um, are you talking for me or for just like artists I'm working with?
Just in general, I know you're super busy with all your music.
Man, I wish I was working on something for myself right now, but I've been really focusing on this new cat that I've been working with, 816 Demo.
Mm.
He's about to drop an EP here, and I did like 3 EPs with him already, and we're just gonna drop them one after the other. So that's what we're working on right now. I believe on this EP is the Rowdy Rebel feature that I just did for him too, which is pretty big. So mainly focusing on that, man. Producing, trying to mix and master that EP for him and get that out. And then also, you know, I'm always rocking with STBtheDON. He's about to drop a single here on May 20th, and I'm mixing that right now, actually.
I'm curious about that Roddy Rebel thing. We talked about it last time. How did that all come about?
Yeah. Well, Demo is in and out of the city a lot. He just moves around. So he had done some work with Saucewalk and Peso Peso, crazy enough. And
Nice.
then I think he got the connect to Rowdy off of them, right? Just paid for the feature. They got in the studio together, rapped over some YouTube beat that like Rowdy was apparently fucking with, but Demo took the track home and was like, I hate this beat. Can you reproduce it for me? So we just took the acapella and created something new on top of that.
Is that a move you think? Pay for a feature from somebody bigger?
Mm-hmm. But the feature was expensive, you know, and that's the first step is like having the money to pay for the right feature, but
Yeah.
then he has enough money to also promote it, you know. Like a lot of people can cop a feature and then they think that that feature will just promote itself.
Hmm.
But realistically, you got to put a lot of promotion because it's going to be your song featuring that person. So you want to get as many eyes on it and gain their fans later.
What do you think even is the move with music right now? I know we talked about the AI generated stuff a little bit the last
Yeah,
time we talked, and that's just insane.
I know, right? There's so much potential with that. Did you? Yeah, we were talking about that Drake song, weren't we? um, what's the future of music?
Yeah. Where do you see this going, and how can we get in on it?
Well, I think that a lot of people have been using AI already and not really knowing it. I mean, it's built into
Hmm.
Ozone mastering already. There's a lot of plugins where you just click a button and the AI kind of approaches it. So I think that it's already slightly integrated and it's just going to become more integrated. And really, it comes down to who can utilize that technology the best.
Hmm.
You know, it's just like ChatGPT. You know, ChatGPT is cool, but unless you know how to prompt it, you're not going to get a good response. So I think everybody should just start using it as much as possible and get familiar with it.
Well, think about back in the day when people were recording live instruments, and then the instruments went to the computer. So why would vocals not also follow the same route?
Can you say that again? What do you mean exactly?
So now if we're making a beat, we're just using a computer and the sounds that are already programmed in, instead of, for the most part, somebody going and playing drums or piano in the studio. So why would the voices not follow the same route where we can generate them?
No, I mean, real talk, a lot of video game music, dude, and like just background movie cinematic stuff is already voices that have been tracked into, you know, synths or sound banks. So I agree with that statement. Like, why couldn't vocals follow that natural progression of technology too? And yeah, that's what was crazy. I know we were talking about that Drake song. It sounded so real, you know?
That's what's insane is now you can make yourself sound like anybody you want. Travis Scott, Drake, Kanye. If you have a little bit of talent, you can put it out and make it sound amazing.
Yeah, it's really cool to me. You know, I think a lot of people talk about it being oversaturated now, and there's too many tools and this and that. But I think that just levels the playing field, and the
For
people
sure.
who have the talent and the know-how of how to, you know, gain a following, like they're gonna take off, because you got TikTok, you've got AI, you got YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google. You know, you've got a lot of tools that you can utilize as an artist.
It's almost too much to keep track of, in my opinion. I think back to if you and I were born, let's say 5,000 years ago, and all we had to do was just eat, sleep, find food, and survive. And now today, it's like we got to wake up, check our phone, check our email, worry about taxes, our banks, all this other shit that comes with modern life. And it just is getting so complex.
Yeah, it's getting very complex. That's why I think mental health is really important. Therapy is a good thing to do. You know, people talk against that shit, but I think just, you know, having moments where you can talk about what's going on, because there's so much going on nowadays, that helps out a lot.
And it's isolating. We have all this technology, and it's great because it's allowing you and I to talk right now. Right. I don't know about you. It's easy to spend a whole day alone and talk to less people with the phone, with the laptop. It can be super isolating.
Yeah, I can't remember where I heard it, but I heard somebody talking about that. They said now that we can talk to anybody, anywhere, at any time, people want to communicate less.
For sure, because we live in our own little world with the screen that we have in front of us. It just sucks you right in.
Man, I find that with TikTok, TikTok is literally addicting. Sometimes I go to watch a TikTok and I look up and it's been an hour, you know?
It's insane. And I wonder, with how much ADHD, Adderall usage that's going around, how much of that is our attention span has been dropped? Because if something isn't super cool or eye-catching right off the bat on our screen, we just nope.
Yeah, same with people too. I mean, look at like Tinder and Bumble and all those dating things. It's just like yes, no. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I find myself, the older I get, the more I try to slow down a little bit when I have those moments. Like, I'm definitely living a slow lifestyle right now. Every morning it takes me like 3-4 hours to get to work. You know what I mean? Like, I work out, eat lunch, read a little bit, like maybe make a beat, and then I'm in there. You know what I mean? It's so, like, you're on it. Life's moving so fast that like we need to slow down.
For sure. And luckily you and I can do that in the morning, take some time. But there are people out there, bro, from the second they wake up at 5:30 or 6 a.m., they got to get in their car, drive an hour to work, sit at their shitty cubicle or office that they don't really want to be in, then drive another hour back. And at that point, you have maybe an hour or two to eat some shitty food and then go to bed and repeat.
Yeah. Imagine being a girl too, because I moved in with my girlfriend and I see her morning routine now. She wakes up at 5:30 because she got to put on makeup. get her hair done, you know what I mean, do all that, and then it's like she's in bed by 8 p.m. and I don't blame her. This shit's
Man,
crazy.
how's it been moving in with a woman? You're living quite
Awesome.
the life with having all of us over there recording out of your house and stuff.
Yeah, bro. It's a bit of like I'm at like in between space right now. It's great living with her. Really sets a great schedule and routine. Cooking's amazing. We've been working out, watching a lot. It's great being able to spend time with somebody you love, you know. Especially with how busy I am in this, you know, in this audio engineering and producer stuff. So that's been great, but I miss the home sessions, bro. I miss having like all y'all over, you know, playing video games, recording, got the camera out, smoking a lot of blunts. Like I've been talking with her, we're definitely gonna get a house and she's gonna let me have the basement, you know, and set it up
Yes,
like we used to. Yeah.
that's the move. We got to have at least a little bit of space that's your own to just mess around with.
You know, and it's just, are you in Kansas City right now? Or are you elsewhere?
I'm back in Montana right now.
Yeah, that's what I figured. The I don't know if you've been checking, but the rent here in Kansas City has just been going up and up and up. So that's why we're in a one bedroom right now. But definitely when, you know, a couple years go by, definitely trying to rent a house or God forbid, put some money down on some more space.
That's the thing, man. How do people get over that hump? Because I feel like with rent prices and how they're increasing, it's getting harder and harder for people to actually save enough money to get a place that's their own.
I know, man. I think they're putting us in a box. But I've heard a lot of people talk about different ways, you know, to approach financial stability. And, you know, a good option if you don't have a significant other or others is to just link with some homies and approach buying a house as a business investment, you know. That's very possible. I got a couple homies out here in Lee Summit that bought a house. They're all living together, paying super cheap rent and making music together, you know. But it's harder. It's harder and harder. You know how inflation's going and the economy and the shrinking middle class. You know how it's going here.
So you're out in Lee Summit right now?
I'm actually up in Liberty, but I just go out to Lee Summit a lot because my girl's from there. My favorite dispensary's out there. I just be out in Lee Summit.
That's where I was living when we first met. Remember you came over to that apartment I had?
Do you remember when we did the Lee Summit like Christmas light thing?
Yes.
Yeah, never again because that line was so long, but that was so fun. Like we were just in the back freestyling, smoking, looking at the lights. It was a blast, bro.
Yeah, and that's how we met. That shit was 3 years ago.
Dude, crazy. Weren't you in school to become a lawyer at the time?
Yeah, I was still in school. I had no idea what I was doing.
No, none of us did, bro. I was recording out of my attic at the time.
And now
You
look at
know,
you. Got a Rowdy Rich feature on you.
hell yeah.
Or not Rowdy Rich. Rowdy
Rowdy
Rebel.
Rebel. Rowdy Rich would be crazy.
That's coming
Crazy.
next. Bro, if you
Yeah,
end up on Roddy Rich's album, you
I
made
need
it.
help. I need help from a lot of people now. You know, I think back in the day, I used to be able to create a song by myself with T, with you, with anybody from start to scratch or from scratch to finish. But now I'm so heavy with the, excuse me, mixing and mastering that I need help on the production too.
Mm.
Excuse me.
Coughing off that blunt. How's the legal weed?
Really expensive and not that great. Tastes great though. They grow it really well.
I never thought I'd see the day when Missouri would come around.
It's wild, dude. I ran into like I used to work in an office building, right? I went to go pick up some weed and I ran into one of my old coworkers there. And I was like, what in the world is going on in Missouri? Because at the same time that we're buying this legal weed, you know, like women's rights out here are being oppressed. I hate to say it, but like It's kind of racist around here. Like, there's a lot of problems that Missouri faces, and this marijuana thing is cool, but I've seen the people. I know a couple of the CEOs of marijuana companies, and there's a lot of white people. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of people that had the money to get in with the politicians to cast the right votes. And I love legal weed. I've been arrested for weed, you know, and I love not feeling stressed, but I think that we need to do this the right way. And we also need to look out for the people of Missouri, because right now there's a lot of corruption, I think, in Missouri politics.
You got arrested for weed? I didn't know this.
Yeah, dude, it's a bad story. I don't really like to talk about it, but like when when I was 17 at the time, and it was on my mother's birthday, I was out in some park smoking a couple
Happy
blunts,
birthday,
man.
Mom.
Yeah, Kansas cops picked me up, man. They were assholes too.
But it's not legal in Kansas, right?
No, it is not. But my good homie DJ aka Black Caesar, he's on the there's a board that they've put together in Kansas, and they're trying to lobby to legalize it. They've done a couple marches. They're trying to get it on the ballot for the next ballot.
To me, that's stupid, because you know everybody that lives in Kansas, especially Kansas City, Kansas, Kansas City, Missouri. You're just going to make a little 10-minute drive, and then Missouri is going to make all that money.
What's funny is there's a dispensary on state line, 135th and state line, and all my Kansas homies pull up there and just got to drive through and everything, you know, like drive through, pick up your weed, go back to Kansas. Kansas is losing a lot of money, but at the same time, Missouri needs that because we pay for everything, like all the Chiefs, the Royals, everything, and Kansas people just drive into Missouri and use that shit. So I don't know. You can really tell I've been in Kansas City a while. I got a lot to say about Kansas City and Missouri. I got to get out of here.
Dude, Kansas City is one of the craziest places ever. I feel like not a lot of people nationwide know about it, but center of the map, insane murder rate, but also a place that has the Chiefs, who are an amazing football team that keep winning. The draft was just there the other weekend.
That was fun.
Some soccer thing coming up, is that right?
Yeah, we got a girls soccer team now, the Kansas City Current. They're building that down on the riverfront.
New airport. So it's kind of this up and coming place.
Yeah, you know, Kansas City's in a very interesting spot. We're at a crossroads, if you will, because it's growing. There have been a lot of people moving into the city, and I don't know if you remember 3 years ago, Trump forced the agriculture department of something to move to Kansas City too. So there's like an influx of attention basically from national stuff here. However, Cerner just sold their company and they've moved their headquarters out of Kansas City. We only have, if I'm correct, one Fortune 500 company here. So there are a lot of people and not a lot of high paying jobs, if that makes sense.
Cerner moved out of Kansas City?
Yeah, Oracle bought them, I believe, and they are in the process of firing people and moving, and selling all the properties and stuff like that. It's kind of sad, but Kansas City's up and coming still. I believe there's a lot of opportunity here. I just want to see more. I want to see more economic growth here because rent's going up and job or the wage they're paying us is not going up as well.
But we have to keep doing things like this, building our own brands, building our own skill sets, talents, and networks. And you've been a guinea pig for pretty much all of the ideas in the music space that I've had. So I really appreciate you being willing to do this. But I feel like we just have to give our people something to be a part of and grow.
Yeah, I think we talked about that a while ago too, like building an economy and a group here in Kansas City, like a scene. And I got to be honest, bro, I see it happening too. There's a lot of people that are starting their own brands and putting on events and getting people to come out. And it's really cool to see because Kansas City for a while there, people never really showed up to events. And now people are really doing that. It's fun to see.
It's a cool music scene, especially because there's so many different sounds. people coming in from everywhere, and it's just very Midwest, very unique.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of different styles here, and there's a couple really good singers too. I really enjoy some of the vocal artists that I've been working with. And not to even mention the jazz scene here. I have yet to tap into, but there's a lot of talented musicians, both young and old, that I see playing at the jazz bars all the time. I
Yeah,
think that's an opportunity.
Yeah, that's what Kansas City was known for way back in the day, right? Big jazz district.
Yeah, Kansas City has a funny history with that. We had jazz, the mob, and boxing here back in the day. Like, we were a real gritty city.
Still is, man. It's still. I lived when I was there during my last stint, a street over from Troost, and that was one of the craziest experiences I've had for 6 months.
What cross street?
I was living on Benton Boulevard. Not sure if you know where that is.
I don't really. Benton, is it like in the 50s or 60s or farther out?
No, it's shit. Of course, now I'm gonna blank, but
It's okay.
it was right there downtown, close to the Power and Light District, and super
Oh, okay.
eye-opening living around there.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's an interesting area, man. There's a lot of riffraff around there, man.
You lived there for how long in that apartment?
Yeah, so I lived downtown there 3 years, I want to say, until it flooded, man. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That was wild. Were you there that night too?
No, I wasn't there. What was that like? You just open the door and there's water everywhere?
Yeah, I went to go let somebody in and I heard like what sounded like a waterfall. And like we were making music, so I was focused. And I didn't really at the time I didn't notice it. And then Dom Chronicles, who lived across the hall, texted me. He's like, "Hey bro, the basement's flooding." And I was like, now that he mentions it, I did hear the sound of water. So we go down to the basement, man, and the main water line, like the big one that comes in and splits up to every apartment, had busted, and it looked like a white water raft, like a rapid, just filling up, bro. And the basement was full, and the water was coming up to the first floor. It was kind of scary, but it was also crazy.
Did they ever do anything for you guys? The people that had to move out of there, pay you back for rent or anything, or were you just shit out of luck, get out?
So like, yeah, they kind of did some stuff. They put us in a hotel. They paid us all of our security deposits back, and didn't make us pay for rent. But the problem was that there were a couple of disabled people there, and those people didn't really have a place to go, and it took about 4 months to get the place back up and running. So I was taken care of because I had a safety net and people to look after me, but I don't know. I worried about a couple people in that building.
Yeah, that's crazy. People are so much closer to being homeless than they realize. Even if you have $200,000 saved up in your bank, you're closer to being at $0 than you are to being at $1 million.
Okay. I don't know what the statistic is, but there's a statistic out there that says a certain percentage of Americans are 2 paychecks away from being homeless. I should know that, and it's increasing. I remember back in the day when I was in business school. So this was 2016. They read us a statistic that 50% of Americans have under $500 in their savings account, and it's like it's only getting worse,
But at the same time, if you do have that, let's say you have $500 in your pocket, no debt, you're still at the very, very bottom of America, but you're still probably in the top 90% of the world as a whole.
Yeah, that's an interesting perspective thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the distribution of wealth in the world, not okay. There's 8 active genocides going on right now in the world.
No.
Yeah, there's 8 bodies of people who are systematically being wiped out right now. Yeah, we're in a bubble here in America.
Those are the things you don't hear about.
No, one of my best friends, Alex, is a conflict conflict studies major, and they study basically how people interact and conflict, and that goes down to the micro scale on one person to one person all the way to the macro from country to country. And she's the one that's been putting me on to all this shit that's been going on in the world. Like, it's really not okay what's been going on, you know? Like, the environment's bad, man. Like, you know, Australia burned 2 years ago because of that. The oceans are about half a degree Celsius warmer already. The ice caps are melting. We are going through the 6th extinction. It might be the 7th extinction right now, mass extinction. There's like 10,000 species are dying every year. Species, not like animals, species, you know? Like, it's just a lot of turmoil in the world. And with all that being said, blessed to be doing music, blessed to be in America, blessed to have the people around me that I have, you know? I don't know what else to say.
That's also another big perspective shifter. When you study those mass extinction events that have happened throughout Earth's history and realize that 95% of all life has just been completely wiped out, that this has happened many times and it's going to happen again.
Mm-hmm.
The Earth will be fine either way, with or without humans.
Right. It's kind of resilient. I'm just hoping that we don't mess it up too much, you know, to a point of no return, basically.
Yeah. What are we going to do whenever the Middle East is too hot to live in? Got 1 billion climate refugees? Then what?
Yeah, I honestly don't know. Luckily, I think technology is increasing at a crazy rate, and there have been a lot of strides towards cleaning up the earth and also terraforming. Like, they're working on you know, being able to produce rain clouds in areas that, you know, have extreme droughts and stuff like that. It's just not gotten there yet, but I'm hopeful that there are enough people who are concerned about the state of the earth that we'll get there.
How long is it until we have something, let's say Chat GPT 8? This is 20, 30 years down the line. And we can just type in there or ask this God level AI, hey, we're having this problem. How do we fix it? Or these are our 2 candidates for whatever election. How do we choose the best one? And we just are using AI to solve all of our problems that we as humans with our animal brains are, for whatever reason, just not able to rationally figure out.
Right. How long till that? I have no idea, man. Probably a while, you know. I think we're still very wary of technology taking over. And I think it's in its infancy too, you know, but probably a while. I think we'll be long gone before that's a thing.
But think about how fast it's moved, man. When did you get your first smartphone?
Yeah, I was thinking about that too, right? Like maybe back in 2012, 2010, you know?
And now look, everybody has a smartphone. I think I heard something like 90% of the world has a phone.
Yeah. Like, bro, you see homeless people have phones.
It's insane. So then eventually this crazy technology is going to start up here and only the elite level people or governments are going to have it. But eventually it'll trickle its way down to where everybody's using it.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they've already been using AI, you know, and Chat GPT and all this stuff is just our first access into it.
Oh man, if we can use Chat GPT, someone like me and you, if you're the CIA or Department of Defense, they have to have some crazy shit that they've spent $1 trillion developing.
Amen. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of scary to think about, but also, I don't know, it doesn't bother me. I feel like technology can be used for the wrong things, you know, and that's why I think they're slow to release stuff, which I'm okay with. As long as it's not like a cure for cancer. If somebody knows a cure for cancer and they're not telling us, I'm pissed.
Yeah, you would think that would get out though.
Wasn't there that guy in Africa that they supposedly killed or whatever?
That's the question though, is we hear about they this, they that, but who is actually they? These are people.
Exactly. I'm not really into big conspiracies like that. That's why I'm like, maybe the government has some crazy AI that they're utilizing and this, that, and the other. But for the most part, I think that they just have advanced guns. You know what I mean? Like it still feels like an arms race out here for military might with stuff. I mean, we're still stockpiling nukes. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, it is insane. Stockpiling nukes in anticipation of the day that we have to use them. I mean, at that point, the world is over.
That's where I'm at. Why did we, after the first nuke, I think everybody, after the first two, excuse me, I think everybody should have been like, okay, like, we're done. That was too much devastation.
That's just not in human nature, though. If one person discovers this really cool thing that gives them ultimate power, they're not just going to give that up because everyone else says, hey, guys, this might be a bad idea.
I know. Maybe that's a step in our evolutionary growth, is when we hit that stage of realizing that killing ourselves is not worth it.
Well, we're still stuck in this phase where I'm me, you're you, I'm white, you're black, I'm a man, you're a woman, I'm an American, you're a Russian or a Chinese person.
Yeah.
And that is just going to keep us stuck in, like you said, this evolutionary phase instead of putting us on Mars or eliminating poverty.
Amen. I'm very open about that stuff, man. I try my hardest to be pro everything. Gender's fluid, sexuality's fluid, you know what I mean? We're fluid because we're all one people and we got to love each other, and it's not worth what we're doing, which is like putting everybody in a box, separating us out so that the 1% get to make money off of everybody. It just doesn't make any sense,
Yeah, for sure.
But I understand that, like at this point, bro, thought about it, the economy and everything and everybody, especially us in America, is tied into this system that we've created. And if you want to bring that down, you're talking about devastation.
Yeah, saw that with COVID, right? Just imagine if COVID, instead of killing whatever percentage it did, bumped those numbers up to, let's say, 10, 15% of people are gone. We would still be fucked.
Be a lot of job offerings. But yeah, bro, that'd be honestly crazy that we haven't had another Black Plague. And that was COVID, kind of came close to that. And it's still, COVID's still out here. We shouldn't be talking like it's gone.
Well, the fact that happened, that there was a Black Plague at one point in humanity's history that killed all those people.
Yeah, I heard we were hella unsanitary back then, though. You know what I mean?
That's probably true.
It sucks, but it's like, I don't know. When you think back on the times and what was going on, it's like, yeah, okay. Kind of makes sense that everybody got sick.
Yeah. But when was the Black Plague? Was that 1600s or something? Or
I believe it was the 1400s. Yeah, I believe it was the 1400s. I don't know why. That's like the one part of history that I thought was kind of sick. Like with all the knights and castles and stuff.
Yeah, what the fuck was that?
What the fuck was that, right? People were living in castles, claiming little areas, and just like, what really gets me is jousting. Why are you on a horse running at each other with a giant wooden spear? Like, you're going to get hurt. There's no other game that we could have played.
Why is watching people get injured one of the most entertaining things ever, though? UFC, NFL, jousting. Why is even watching people get hurt is sometimes kind of funny?
Yeah,
why
right?
do you think that is?
I think lately I feel like people have been betting on it, and they love gambling and making money, and they've created an industry around it. But it's also just the battle of strength, bro. Who doesn't want to see who's stronger than the other guy?
That's true.
Yeah, at least that's what I think it is. Like because it used to be boxing, right? And they had the gloves, and there were a lot of rules. And now it's like people watch UFC. There's no gloves. People are kicking. bringing each other to the ground, beating each other in the face. It's definitely a competition of strength.
I saw some shit the other day that people in times of war actually have higher dopamine levels across the board because it gives them a sense of community and a goal that these people are working towards together.
And that's interesting. I don't know if that's a good thing, but that's interesting.
Well, it goes back to what we were talking about, how tribal we are. I'm not an anthropologist or a historian or anything, but if you subscribe to the idea that we evolved in little groups of people in villages, it would make sense.
It does. I've been on like a health journey because I gained a lot of weight last year, so I've been trying to lose it. And I've been looking into intermittent fasting, right? And our bodies are hella tribal, like you say, and we have evolved to like be able to like live off of not eating for a couple days type shit.
Oh yeah.
And like, yeah, if you just eat within an 8-hour window and then don't eat for 16 hours, like your body like can handle that shit, and you're gonna lose a lot of weight low key.
Well, we've somehow been brought up in this American environment where you have to have eggs and bacon for breakfast and then this and then that. And it's like, if you don't get 3 meals a day, you're unhealthy.
Yeah. And I know that there's been a lot of discourse in the nutrition community like lately, and they've introduced new diet plans and ways you can eat and stuff like that too. But you're right, like everybody's brainwashed into like breakfast in the morning, you got to get a lunch, and then dinner's the big meal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think it's actually I think it's healthier to eat the big meal first, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know. I'm sure it's different for everybody, but yeah, our bodies are probably inclined to wake up in the morning and actually going out to find food, not just eating something right off the bat.
Do you watch any YouTube?
Oh yeah, I live on YouTube.
Yeah, me too. I've been watching this one guy, YBS Youngblood. He's this Australian dude who lives in some remote area of the outback, right? Like right on the ocean. And they go out and they fish for all their protein, you know, type shit. And they live sustainably off the earth, and they be eating like 1 meal a day, maybe 2, because they're, you know, they got to go out and fish and find this food. And I could never do that myself. But there's something cool in that, you know? Like that's how we're supposed to live. Don't eat too much, live sustainably, and you only really need 1 big meal a day.
Yeah, there's something kind of disconcerting about that to me, where I wonder if shit really were to hit the fan, whatever, the nuke gets dropped or the store shelves just get completely empty, would I be able to go out and hunt something or fish for something and skin it and cook it and know what's this and what's that?
Yeah.
No, we just don't really have those skills unless you, as a kid, go out and learn them on your own and someone teaches it to you.
You know that old adage that you can't teach an old dog new tricks? I think that's bullshit. And I think that you and me right now could go learn how to do that shit, like as adults. Like, you know, like I think there's a lot of information out there, and I agree that like learning it as a kid helps, but I think we could figure it out, bro. I think we got this shit.
Not hunting you out on a hunting trip.
I don't think I could hunt. I could fish, and I could figure out how to fillet a fish correctly, you know. You basically just, there's a spine every time, you know what I mean? And you don't want to cut into its stomach. I know the 2 basic things, but, and I love fishing. I think I could figure it out, bro. I think we got this.
Yeah.
All right, drop the nukes. Drop the nukes. Ty and I need to go try something real quick.
We're going to drop an album in the apocalypse.
Be fire, dude. I saw a video of some guy go camping. He went like glamping and shit, and he brought his whole like music setup and shit. It was like he was out on the lake fishing and he was making beats at the same time. It was crazy.
Did you say glamping?
Yeah, have you ever heard of that?
No. Is that glamour camping or something?
Yeah, it's basically rich person camping because they don't want to sleep on the ground.
Well, who does want to sleep on the ground?
I'll sleep on the sand, but no, I don't want to sleep on the ground.
That's sand though. That's way different.
So, I got to ask you a question. Do you like going to the beach, or are you a mountain guy?
Man, I wish I could walk over here and show you where I'm at right now. Mountains every day.
I kind of figured that was the answer to the question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a beach guy, but I love me some mountains. I think I'm just an outdoors guy on the love. That's why I'm out here right now with you. I mean, I love being outside, dude. How is it being out there in Montana? Do you get a lot of downtime to go hiking and stuff?
So it's just now starting to get warm here. There's still snow out
Yeah,
in the mountains, but the last 2 weeks have been absolutely perfect after a pretty long winter.
that's good, man. Have you been there in the summer before?
I was here last year until May and then moved back to Kansas City. So this is the furthest in the season that I've been here, and it's super, super nice. No humidity, nice kind
Yeah.
of mountain breeze, about 60 degrees.
Is weed legal out there too?
It is. You know, I wouldn't live somewhere where it's not.
I know, right? How is it out there?
It's been hit or miss. I feel like it really depends on what dispensary you go to and how fresh it is. That's the other thing. Sometimes you can get a joint or a little package of a gram and look at it and see this was harvested like last October.
Oh my God. That's really bad actually. Because I maybe it's just because it's fresh here in Missouri, but everything has been like within the last month that I've picked up. They shouldn't be, if they're selling that, they should reduce the price.
Yeah, it's been hit or miss, and I live in the biggest city in Montana, so luckily
Yeah,
there are some options to go around. But overall, I'm not going to complain.
yeah. I mean, how can you complain when you can walk into a store and purchase it?
Which 5, 6 years ago would feel like a dream. Like that shit is never going to happen.
I know. I was literally preaching to people. I was like, bro, it's not gonna get legal in Missouri like in my lifetime. Never. 5 years later, here it is. It's crazy how fast stuff progresses.
I didn't read the article. I saw the headline that Missouri made $350 million during the first 3 months of legalization.
Yeah, that sounds about right. To be honest with you, because I know the first month was 110, and then the second month was more. So that makes sense.
That is so much money.
It's $1 billion industry already. Yeah,
Insane.
and that's why I was preaching earlier about we need to put that money in the right hands, into the communities that have been affected by the incarceration of marijuana users, like not these people that are running these businesses and selling me an eighth for $45 plus tax. Like it's just not okay to me.
So did
I
that arrest that you had, so I assume that's an MIP. Is that still on your record? Like, do you still have to deal with that?
No, I got that expunged. They gave me diversion at the time. Man, yeah, and I just had to do like it was like 9 months probation, basically, drug tests throughout all that, and community service hours and all that bullshit, and took care of that. Just 3 years later, they allowed me to expunge it off my record.
That's crazy that something like that can happen to someone who's so young. And that's awesome that you got it expunged, but there are other people who get their lives totally destroyed.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was lucky to have a good lawyer and parents that could pay for it and all that bullshit. And Kansas has a real big problem with oppressing people of color. I'm gonna be honest with you, and letting white kids like me go by.
Hmm.
Because I don't know if you remember Light Skin Slim, right?
Yeah.
Him and a couple other people I know, they've just been in and out of the system, like they're Olathe residents, and they've just been in and out of the system so much. And once you're basically in that system, you can't get out. And they're just making money off them, basically. That's all they want. Little jail time here and there, but mostly it's just $500 fees.
I mean, that's one of the most disgusting things about being an American is that there are private prisons and that you can own a prison where another human being is sitting in a cage and get rich off of that.
Yeah. And yeah, it's terrible. And some of the food that they're feeding those people at those prisons is disgusting and inhuman. Like, it's basically a for-profit prison. And so they want to spend as least amount of money as they can on food and accommodations. Yeah, it's inhuman. And I hate to say it, but I'm a Kim K fan for standing up against that shit.
Yeah, good for her.
Yeah, for real, right? We need some spokespeople, on our side. All we had was her and who was the quarterback?
Oh, Colin Kaepernick.
Colin Kaepernick, man. We need some more. We need some more people.
Yeah, it's a crazy world.
It's it's an interesting place, but that's why I've fallen so heavy into music, man. It's so comforting being able to create amongst the chaos. So it allows for a sense of peace.
Yeah, it's one of the best things you can do for mental health. One of the best ways of self-expression.
It also brings people together too, and I love that. Like, the only thing that brings me sanity is being around good people nowadays. So if music can bring me around great people, I'm happy to create and make some stuff.
Well, also a community of super cool, super interesting, inspiring, creative people. And without it, we wouldn't have ever gotten linked up. And with that, it led me to have all sorts of different friends that you were connected with, got in with Emerald, all those amazing people. So it seriously is amazing.
Yeah, I love it, man. And you just got to be open. I think Pharrell said, let creativity flow through you, right? And that's what it is. Just be open. And, we were open to meeting you, and that snowballed into a whole thing. You know what I mean? And that's just what I'm all about, man. Be open to experience, and you're going to meet a ton of cool people.
That's the truth, brother.
Yeah, man. How I know you're the one asking me questions, but how are you doing out there in Montana? Like, how have you been living? Do you have some friends out there? Are you enjoying it?
Yeah. So I'm actually getting ready to move down to New Mexico here in 2 weeks. I'm always on the go, but
I love that. I love that.
My lady is from New Mexico. She has family down there, and so we're gonna pack up and go down there for the next 2 years, settle down and establish some roots.
I'm proud of you, man. That's awesome. How long have you been with your lady?
About a year.
For sure. Wow. And you guys are moving to a new city together. That's a big step, man.
It is.
Are you going to move in together too, or separate residences?
We live together right now. She moved from Lawrence, Kansas, up here to Billings, Montana with me. So
okay,
she was willing to take that big step and come to this freezing cold place in the middle of winter. We didn't know anybody, so I figured it's only right that I repay the favor, get a little bit closer to family.
Good for you, man. That's awesome. How have you liked living with a girl?
I enjoy it. I haven't done my own laundry for several months, which I really appreciate. She's a great cook. And it's just nice. We got a little German Shepherd puppy together, so I feel like we're just working to grow something that
you're living the dream, man.
Yeah, never thought I'd see the day, but here we are growing up.
I know. How old are you now, if you don't mind me asking?
26.
26? Yeah, and I'm turning 29 here in a couple of months, man. It's time. I think definitely a shift in perspective happens in your upper 20s, and you start focusing on things for the long term, really.
Yeah, they say the male brain gets fully developed at age 25, and I feel like I definitely had a bit of a change in mindset right around that time.
Yeah, I agree with that. Also, 26, that was when my body started gaining weight. That's when my metabolism slowed down, and I remember it vividly, bro. There was like a week where like all of a sudden I was bloated And I started putting on weight, and I was like, dude, I don't think I can eat whatever I want, whenever I want anymore. And yeah, 26. Watch out, buddy.
Yeah. I'm a big believer in that. What we put into our bodies for sure matters, for sure affects how we feel, how we treat other people, energy levels.
Yeah, I agree with that. I've been off the fast food for the most part, other than Jimmy John's. That's my one go-to.
Oh
And
man,
dude, ever since I cut out McDonald's, bro, like I feel a lot better. Feel happy.
I'm gonna have a bone to pick with you there. I'm not a Jimmy John's fan at all.
Okay. You don't like their sandwiches, or you don't like the company?
No, the sandwiches, I don't know. It just has never hit for me. Maybe I haven't been to the right place, or I just had someone who didn't put enough thought and time and love into preparing my turkey sandwich.
Right. Dude, there's bugs everywhere. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Their sandwiches kind of mid, if not lower tier, when it comes to sandwiches. I just really like a roast beef sandwich, and they put a lot of mayonnaise on it for me, so I fuck with that.
Okay. So you're a Jimmy John's guy.
Jimmy John's guy. What's your go-to place to eat out there?
We've been going to all sorts of different places.
Okay, just
Established
testing it out.
established a nice little date night on Thursdays. So just trying somewhere new every Thursday, get some good food, keep the relationship strong.
That's good. Me and Carly try to do that too. Like I think we always shoot for Saturdays. Try to get out, show her some love and spend some time with her. That's a good idea, man.
Yeah. Quality time for not only romantic relationships, but friendships, family. Super important.
Yeah, I've been big on that this year. My little sister moved out to Chicago last year, and then she's moving to Boston now, right? And she's 24. She's young. She's like just establishing her own life and shit. And we haven't really been communicating too much, so I've been trying to get back with her, trying to spend more time with my family while they're here in town with me. And definitely moving in with Carly is like a step two of like spending more time with people I love. So I think it's really important.
So we have at the end of the day, is the people that we love and care about.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's kind of like the only thing we have is time. So you might as well spend it with the people you love and enjoy it.
It's a crazy thing to think about. Just the fact that we're aging, that we're hurling towards our own demise.
Who said that to me the other day? Somebody said, I think it was STBtheDON. He was like, man, he's like, it is crazy that we are mortal. He's like, it is crazy that we are going to die. And I'm like,
It is.
It is. Yeah, it is. But like, is it? Like, we all know it. And
Yeah,
will we die?
I don't know. I was looking into this philosophy thing called solipsism, probably
Okay.
butchering that, but it's this idea that the only thing that you can really concretely prove is that you are real. Your consciousness, your experience is real. And that everything else could very easily be a simulation or a projection of yourself.
I've heard about that. That shit's scary to me, because then that means that everything's basically a simulation or a projection.
Well, in some ways, I feel like it is. I mean, what is manifestation other than I want something to happen, so I'm going to make it happen? In some ways, that's sort of like a simulation. I do this, so this happens.
Yeah, in a way. I think that manifestation, though, is there's work involved with it. Like, and you kind of, man, yeah, no, I know what you're getting at, and it's hard to argue against that, right? Because manifestation is really dope, but you got to put hard work into something and work towards a goal, and sometimes it doesn't work out, and sometimes it does. Like, I think for as many people as it works out, it doesn't work out for some people, you know?
Yeah. And that's where I myself have been guilty of slipping up, is that when my idea doesn't work right off the bat, just giving up. When in reality, that's probably not how it was supposed to go. Sometimes you have to try this, this, and this. And then eventually, whatever your goal was or the thing you wanted to happen will become reality, but in a way that is completely different than how you first imagined it.
Yeah. Man, I've been trying to be more open to me being wrong too, because I get frustrated when I fail. Like I don't quit, but I get real frustrated. And I've been trying to chill out and be like, okay, like something's not working. What do we need to change? And, you know, adjusting and working towards the goal. It's still manifesting, you know, you just got to keep at it.
I heard Mark Cuban say on a podcast the other day that every no is just one step closer to a yes, because you can go back to the drawing board and try again. I think that's good advice.
Have you ever heard of the law of averages too?
No, what's that?
It's like a sales thing. So it's like, you got to know, if I have t-shirts to sell, how many people do I have to hit up before I get a sale? Okay, cool. Then I know I have to hit up X amount of people to get X amount of sales. That's your law of average, right? So I don't know, like when you approach doing anything, you got to know your law of average. Like if you're trying to get better at music, you know, you got to know that maybe every 10 songs you put out, right, maybe that 10th one is the hit. Like maybe you hit your stride every 10 songs and that's the one that pops off, right? You just got to keep at it. Like, I guess the more practical approach towards that is like with TikTok, right? If you put out a TikTok every single day, just keep doing it, and eventually one of them's going to pop. Well, cool. Now you know how many you got to post until one of them pops, and just try to shorten that up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've been alongside with this and other things on YouTube, trying to just grind on YouTube shorts. And that's a weird algorithm too, because it's based on how long people actually watch your content and if they rewatch it. So if it's something like TikTok or a YouTube short and it's a video that you come across and it doesn't catch your eye for a second, so you just go right off the bat, that plummets you down. But if it's something that people watch the whole thing and even rewatch it, that boosts you up.
It's a fickle thing, and I feel like every algorithm is different too, right? But there are people out there that talk about how to create content in a catching way so that you keep the viewer. Yeah. I don't know much about it. I haven't really looked into it because I'm not trying to post like crazy, but
yeah, for me, it's this idea of getting out of the system, more or less, where I'm relying on other people to give me money as an employee and build something for myself, for the people that I care about, that we can all be a part of, and create wealth that way, create value that way.
Yeah, I agree. And the more we all put into that too, the bigger it gets, you know? So I don't know. We gotta make sure that like you have your thing going on, I have my thing going on, STBtheDON has his, everybody has their own thing, and when we come together, it's like Voltron, you know?
Well, I've always felt like whenever all of us did link up, there's so much creative energy going on and so many different ideas. That is where collaboration is really valuable, is because I always felt like I spent all week alone, kind of rolling thoughts around or doing my daily life. But then on a Friday or Saturday night, come together with all these other really smart, genius, creative people. And that inspires me for the next month or whatever.
Same, man. I get so inspired off of other people. I like get really bored and depressed when I'm just making music by myself, you know?
It should be a collaborative thing, because it's hard to put a project together start to finish by yourself. And that's something that you're great at, man. A lot of people have ideas that they want to do, but I feel like you're the guy that people can come to, and whatever idea or project they have in mind, it will happen and it will come out.
Yeah. Yeah. I pride myself on that. Like, I'm not really great at, I think, bringing my own ideas all the way to fruition, but when I work
Mm.
with somebody, it's really easy because they're the ones that are pointing me in the right direction, and all I have to do is drag them along. You know what I mean? And it's really fun. It's really fun. I'm not to like plug one of my guys, but Cash Cam. I've been working a lot with him, and his last single that we dropped, like Damn, like I think that came out perfect. Great mix and master, great recording process with him. We worked on the beat, and that's what I really enjoy. You know?
That's funny you bring him up. He's the next person that I'm talking to. So that's perfect
Hell yeah,
timing.
yeah. Tell him I said what's up, bro. Tell him I'm working on his next single. It's about to be in his inbox.
And he had an awesome video for that too. He's really good with the visual element and seeing things.
Yeah, dude, and I love that about him because he's actually really talented as a videographer too. So he's got that eye and he knows what he wants it to look like. So I appreciate that.
For sure. A lot of talented people in our circle.
Yeah, man. That's why I know I'm really hard on a lot of people, and I can come off abrasive sometimes, especially uh, when I'm giving people criticism, but it's only because I want to push everybody forward. Like there's so much raw talent and I could see how it can work, and I just want people to be on their shit at all times. Like we're on go, you know?
But I feel like for things that are creative, everyone almost needs somebody like that because it's not like there's a rule book or you have a boss or someone that's holding you accountable or to a certain standard. And people who
Yeah.
don't have that person in their corner that says, hey, this could be a little bit better, or why don't you switch this up? I think those are the people that fail ultimately.
Yeah, they just got a lot of yes men around them and then nothing actually pops. It's
Yeah.
like I've been talking with this one artist. He's got a show coming up with I Swear Vezo. I mean, I've been in communication with him since January. He hasn't booked me since January, and he's had all these shows that he's done with popular artists, and he's played his quick mixes instead of show mixes that we've worked on together. And he's told me on Friday that he has got a show with I Swear Vezo, and I'm like, bro, like if you do this show with I Swear Vezo without getting this shit like properly put together, like you're messing up. You're gonna lose that opportunity.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, I don't know. I just try to make sure that people are on go.
Well, you're the man for that. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to do this, man. It's great to talk to you. You're a great friend, creative genius.
Dude, thank you so much for having this conversation with me. It was really great to talk to you again, and I appreciate it, man. Um, Let me know if you're ever like coming back in town for a little bit. You can pull up, and be great to catch up with you in person, man.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Yeah, my bad for being a little distracted. My dog keeps tracking all these little burrs around, and she's got them all over her, and I've been slowly picking them off.
That's the thing about those Missouri summers, those burrs and ticks everywhere.
Everywhere, and our house here has chiggers in the back, so like Molly goes out there and plays in the back, and I'm like, oh my god, am I gonna have to dig for chiggers in her fur?
Probably the case.
Probably the case, man. But yeah, I really appreciate this, dude. It was really great catching up. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, of course. We'll have to do it again.
Yeah, let me know. I'm always down for a conversation. This was dope.
Sounds good, brother.
All right, all love, man. I'll talk to you later.
Sounds good. Love, brother. Peace.
All right, peace.